And they're going to throw Mallet. Oh, he's got a man wide open. He totally fooled the Georgia defense. Chris Gregg going to have a sandwich, going to walk in.
Deep left field! Out of here!
Got to drive it, Brad. You got to drive it. Madden for maybe the win.
Now closing in on Emmitt Smith, of all people, in terms of all-time rushers in the SEC. Looking to pass it. He's thrown 4 touchdowns. Up for grabs, and there's number 5.
And welcome back to another episode of Arkansas Takes podcast. Me and Cadence are here to break down Arkansas's 56-14 win over Arkansas State in Little Rock. Cadence, first, just what was your, overview of the game, instant reaction?
I was real happy with the game, honestly. I think my instant reaction in the game was I was real happy with the offense. Like, I felt like we were unstoppable. We were scoring all those points like in 2 plays. I feel like we barely had the ball and we were putting up all those points. And I thought the defense played pretty well. I mean, there was a few stops inside the 10-yard line. Only gave up 14 points, and I just felt really good too because it's like the first time. I feel like it's the first time in a long time we beat like Arkansas State. It's not like playing a junior college or something. I mean, it's a pretty good group of 5 school, and I feel like we beat them. That's the first time I remember beating a group of 5 school that bad in a long time.
Yeah, I think it's the first time Arkansas scored 50 points on a G5 school in like 8 years or something like that, 8 or 9 years. Yeah, like you said, it was just like bang, bang, bang. I mean, we were sitting there at my dad's and like we were looking like, man, they're scoring fast. And we looked and they scored 3 touchdowns in 10 plays, which is just nuts. And we'll kind of go over each one. First drive, Arkansas gets the ball. Well, I'll say this. I was pleased with it, other than a couple of mistakes, which, we'll get into, but, overall, as much as you could expect, scoring wise and defensively when it came down, whenever the clock hit 0, you're like, okay, yeah. But yeah, like you said, scored really fast. First drive of the game, 2 plays, 75 yards. Mike Washington, 53 yards. Everybody's talking about the Corey Robinson block. He ran like 30 yards down the field and laid out that safety. But really, if you watch that play, if you watch that play develop, it was like perfect blocking from everyone. Yes, Corey was the one that had the block that sprung it, but everyone, it was like perfectly blocked.
His perfect run too. He waited, just like he let the blocks all time up in front of him. Is perfect play all around.
Yep. And then of course you get a stop, get the ball back, 6 plays, 80 yards. Raylan Sharp over the middle on a seam route, pretty much wide open. Another breakdown in coverage for them. Their secondary was pretty suspect, but it was a good ball from Taylor right over the middle. Raylan, reached over the goal line and scored it. A lot of touchdowns right at the goal line that were, just like that one, the Braylon Russell one, the Arkansas State one at the very end that they blew dead. It probably would have been a touchdown, but they blew it dead. Of course, you go up 14-0, 2 minutes in it, or 4 minutes into the game, and then you give up a kick return touchdown. That's just a bonehead thing. The guy's running way out of his lane, and then you can watch it. He like gives up on his hole, and he like goes like he's gonna run all the way up the sideline.
Yeah, they pushed like way too far up.
Yeah,
they all got inside like the 20, and the returner's already at the 25, so they just overran him.
Yeah, you just can't have that. I mean,
I got a question for you about that too. I see a bunch of people online. They're like, we got to shore up our special teams. Like, we can't be doing that I know we can't give up a kick return in the SEC or whatever, but like, have you really noticed the special teams being that bad? Like, besides that one play, is there something I'm not seeing?
They had a couple penalties.
Okay.
They had 12 men on the field on one punt. They had to call a timeout.
Okay. I knew about that one.
Yeah. So I memean, it's kind of picky. Everybody's hit and miss with Coach Fountain. If he's doing good, then they're not going to say he's doing good. But if you have a game like that, it's
maybe that's a level of competition thing that I just haven't. It hasn't bit us too bad that I haven't noticed it. Like, it hasn't affected us too badly yet. But
I don't think that they're not going to give up a kick return next weekend. I mean, it's just, you know what I'm saying? But it's
Yeah.
something that's there that they just have to, and you could tell, and that's why I wanted to say too, from the very first play of this game, you could tell that Arkansas showed up to play. Like Omega had that crossing route, and whenever he got out of bounds, he was like jumping up and down, like they were ready to go. So they were
Yeah.
kind of amped up, you know, and they just overran that one guy. I think his number's 83. I didn't even get his name, but he kind of just overran it and missed his hole. And credit to that guy. I mean, he was fast. He hit that one hole, and there was no one catching him. That's the reason why
No, they
he's
didn't.
returning kicks. But you know, they score that touchdown, and then but they give up the kick return, and then 2 plays later, Taylor Green, 64 yards straight up the middle of the field, and just kind of re-solidifies. Okay, yeah, you got that, but this isn't going to be, you know, what you think it is.
Yeah, that was a big scoring drive. Big answer
Yeah, when
to what
Taylor
set the tone.
got to the end zone, my immediate thought was, of course, you know, it was kind of nostalgic. We were talking about it that morning about, you know, it's going to be cool. The game's going to be packed, you know, yada, yada, yada. But when Taylor's running up the middle, whenever he scores, it just reminded me of like some of the most iconic plays in that stadium with Darren McFadden running up the middle and Kobe Hamilton catching the ball in the middle of the field and running it into the end zone and Peyton Hillis taking it up. You know, just plays like that where it's, you know, it was cool to see Taylor get his moment there because,
Yeah, the ones that stick, the ones you think about,
yeah,
memories.
yeah.
And then is that the same one he did the little brother touchdown?
Yeah.
Was that or the celebration, the little brother celebration?
Yeah. And people were making memes of that and doing like a little stick figure with a Red Wolf head. You know, it was cool that Arkansas, like I said, showed up and was like, okay, yeah, we're going to take this serious. And they did, you know, for the most part. It was, you know, they showed up ready to play. So, next play or next drive, Arkansas State punts the ball. And then kind of a longer drive, 4 plays, 50 yards. Or, yeah, that was a short punt. Had to have been. Touchdown.
I think it was an interception.
No,
Xavier Sorey interception. No,
Sorey's interception happened on the
next
next
drive.
drive. Yeah, because they did 3 plays minus 20 yards and
Okay.
punted. So they didn't really get anything right there. And then, yeah, Braylon Russell's 4 plays, 50 yards, ran over that safety, bruiser. Then Sorey got his pick. Good interception. I mean, he jumped the route. It was, he played like the rodeo. Of course, we'll go over the defense and their stuff, but interception. And then we get to the sore eye of it. And, you know, I not defended it, but when we were watching the game, you know, you're just like whenever Taylor had that run, I was just bought in at that point. That was the moment that I was bought in on the season. Just that run. I'm just being honest with you. That was the moment I'm like, okay, yeah, we're gonna have a good team this year. So when he threw the pick, I was just like, well, you know, we got to kind of see. We don't, because, and to be fair, you can't see what the quarterback sees from the TV view. And I don't know if it's good or worse, which both of them's worse because he threw the interception, but I don't know which one's better. But I just don't think he saw him because it doesn't look like when Taylor's trying to throw it through a window, it kind of seems like he has a little bit more zip on it. And this one just kind of seemed like he just, you know,
Lofted it.
Yeah. But he threw it right to him. He's known to do that.
Yeah. I don't know. I've watched a couple of replays because I went to go watch, like, I wanted to see those interceptions. And so I went to go watch that one. And like you said, maybe he didn't see him, but like I'm watching it, I'm like, what is he trying to do here? Like there's not a receiver. Like there's a receiver in the back, but it doesn't even look like it's going.
It looked
to
like
him.
it was going to go short of him.
Yeah,
it looked like it was short armed.
It's just like 3 A-State defenders, and he throws it right to one of the linebacker, whoever picked it. And
yeah.
So I just really don't even understand what he was thinking or what he saw. So I don't know.
Yeah.
But the thing that stresses me out is like we just made a big turnover. Like that was the thing we've been talking about last week. Like we need to force a turnover. Sorry. We need to force a turnover. we force turnover and then we throw a pick on the very next play. It's like especially like when we start playing big time games, if he wants to be in the Heisman talks and we want to be a good team, you can't just give the ball right back after you get a big turnover.
Yeah, especially on their side of the field. Because that was like
Mhm.
early in there, they had our interception, 4 plays, 27 yards. So what were they at, like the 40, 35-yard line?
Yeah,
I think we were definitely on
we
our side
were
of the field.
yeah, we were close.
Uh,
Field goal range for sure.
So definitely unfortunate. Cannot have that. And I'm not here to defend that. That's not what I'm doing. But it sucked seeing that, especially that throw. The other one, which we'll get to because there's really nothing. It was kind of a lull. You got the interception. Both teams punted. A-State missed a field goal, and then Taylor Green interception. The second one didn't seem as bad. It wasn't a bad idea, even though he had the tight end wide open.
Mhm.
He went to the route further up the field. I don't know if the receiver cut the route short or he didn't run it deep enough or it was just a bad throw overall. Wasn't a good throw. Give credit to the DB. He did make a good play on the ball. I mean, he caught it low on the ground. But yeah, you just can't have that. I mean, giving teams 2 interceptions in a game that's going to be, higher magnitude like next weekend on the road at night in Ole Miss, that's going to completely, it's going to change all the momentum, regardless, because whenever that second interception happened, you're only up by 14 points.
Yeah.
You're only up
And
14-28.
the second pick, like, don't get me wrong, I wish it didn't happen, but that one doesn't stress me out as bad. I feel like that was just a bad play overall. He threw a bad ball. The receiver didn't break to the receiver didn't even come to the ball and try and get it. So
Yeah.
that one didn't stress me out too much. But like you're saying, next week you can't have that. And the Ole Miss quarterback has thrown 2 interceptions in each of his first 2 games.
Yeah.
If he's going to throw 2 more interceptions Saturday, we don't need to be giving the ball back. We need to take advantage of that.
Yeah, because Kentucky didn't. They scored 10 points on 2 turnovers. You got to score 14 points on a team like that. You got to score touchdowns on both of them, especially with short field.
Yeah.
But yeah, throws the interception, 14-28. But it was good to see at the end of the half you have a 12-play, 83-yard drive to score another touchdown, go up 14-38. Good drive. Taylor had the hurdle and trucking the guy and all that, which is cool to see, whatever. But it was, it was good to see him bounce back after throwing 2 interceptions and Bobby still having confidence in calling pass plays because my dad's sitting there like, we got to run the ball. We got to run the ball. And, he as soon as they get back out there, they're slinging it around again. So,
I was saying the same thing. Like, they threw the ball like 12 times in a row. I was like, man, we need to. It worked out, but I see where he's coming from, trying to get him throwing the ball again. Because I mean, you do need to build confidence back up and stuff. And I'm glad to see that he bounced back as well.
yeah.
Like, he didn't look like it really phased him, or like it didn't break his spirit, I guess.
Yeah. And, okay. I'm trying to see here. See, this is wrong. It shows the touchdown, but it doesn't show the right time. So Taylor threw the interception. You were up 28-7. So you're up 3 touchdowns. Taylor threw the pick, and then Arkansas State drives down the field and scores. Good job by them. 14 plays, 62 yards. They got a couple of, they actually fumbled on that drive and then got back their own fumble. But I mean, they got a couple penalties. You had a couple of, I know, what's that corner? They tried him out again. Still toward the middle of the game. I'm trying to think of his name. Not Metcalf. Mitchell.
Singletary or
Yeah,
Bridges?
Singletary.
Okay.
Yeah, he had a couple penalties, and then Stephen Dix had a holding. So you just kind of, just lapsing penalties. Can't have them. Give up a touchdown after turning the ball over. But that was kind of it for the defense. I mean, we will talk about them because I was thoroughly impressed, but we don't have to go over the rest of it. I mean, they scored one drive I will talk about, 8 plays, 99 yards. Backup quarterback comes in, dotting up Arkansas State.
He throws the ball good. KJ
Yeah,
does.
he's just so calm in the pocket. He doesn't even look like he's, I don't know, not that he's forcing it, because I don't feel like Tathlin's forcing it the majority of the time. But he's just, he's just barely, it doesn't look like he's really trying to, swing it.
Mhm.
But yeah, Talon was 17 for 26, 239 yards, 4 touchdowns, 2 picks. And then he had 9 carries, 151 yards, and a touchdown. So 5 touchdowns, almost almost 400 yards of total offense. So another good game in stats wise, not interceptions wise. Can't have the interceptions, but good game from him. Mike Washington showed up. We talked about how he was running the ball well last week, but everybody didn't see it in the stat category. He almost had another big run on that one drive, but he kind of overran his blocker, overran Carmona down the sideline, and instead of kind of being patient. But 9 carries, 116 yards. Arkansas ran the ball for almost like 14 yards a carry. I mean, you're not going to 321 yards rushing. It didn't even feel like they ran the ball that much.
Yeah, I think. Well, I saw somewhere Talon and Mike Washington combined for over like 215 together or something like that.
Yeah. Yep. And then Braylon, the big bruiser, 5 carries, 25 yards, so 5 yards carry. He's not going to be. I mean, he can. If he gets at second level and he's got the momentum, he can. Make somebody. He can outrun somebody. Maybe not at SEC level. This depends on the situation. But Rodney Hill got a couple carries. It was cool to kind of see him in. He had a big carry on that last drive, that 99-yard drive. I think he had a 16,
Yeah, he got him out of
17-yard
the end
carry.
zone.
He had an 18-yard carry. Yeah. But yeah, Omega Blake shows back up, 5 catches, 65 yards, and a touchdown. Rohan Jones, that guy's got some speed for a tight end, man. He's not that
Yeah, he
big.
does.
He's not like an oversized tight end, but he hit that sideline and was gone. And credit to Jalen Brown on that play. He was blocking his guy on like the 2-yard line all the way up the field, the whole play. Like that right there is winning football. You have to have those kind of blocks way up the field, even if you don't even think that you're going to be in the play. You have to continue to block your guy. So, a pat on the back to him for sticking with it and making that play happen. So, what did you think of the overall, I guess, receiving core? I mean, including the tight ends for the game.
I think the receiving core was more of what I already knew. I really like Raylan Sharp. I feel like he's open all the time. I hope that him and Talon get more chemistry and Talon just gets him the ball more because I just feel like he's always open. But the tight ends, I really liked the 2 tight ends, Platt and Jones. I know Jones hasn't really he made that big play against State, but he hadn't really done anything up to that,
Yeah.
like a big explosive plays wise. But I really think that's something that he's going to give us more of this year. And I think Platt is just a good all around blocking and he has sure hands. Like I feel like he catches everything that's thrown to him. So I like both of them. And I like Poshko, of course, too.
Yeah, I think Jones is the more I wouldn't say vertical threat, but you could kind of move him in the inside slot if you needed
Yeah.
to. And like you said, Platt's more the overall guy, and Poska's kind of like if you had to put him on the scale closer, he can catch, you know what I mean? But he's more of the blocker in the group. But it's cool to have 3. I mean, you've had two touchdowns from tight ends in 2 games. I mean, I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but way more production than we had last year in the tight end room. And it's like a well-rounded room. You have a bunch of versatility. So yeah, well, let's talk about O-line. They gave up 1 pressure the whole game. No sacks, 1 pressure, and it was from like a busted. I mean, you can go back and watch that play. The tackle doesn't look at him, the tight end doesn't look at him, and the running back's running out to the flat. So no one really picked him up. I don't know if that was on Talon on a check. He didn't check him or whatever, but the offensive line played absolutely incredible. And I don't care who you're playing against. If you give up 1 pressure in a game, you had a really good game. The pocket was clean the whole game. Talon runs out of the pocket. It's not that he really felt any pressure. Sometimes the play's designed to move the pocket. But he was stepping into his throws. He looked confident in the pocket. Besides the 2 interceptions, but the interceptions weren't even from the offensive line. That was just him, missed throws or forcing it or whatever happened on that first one.
Mhm.
What'd you think of the O-line and run blocking? They ran block really well,
But,
obviously.
yeah,
321 yards of rushing, you're going to run block well.
Yeah, and I think something that I noticed too was like I feel like they were putting some like they were switching some guys up on the line too, and it still didn't affect anything. So that like made me really happy to see. Like I saw Cherry was out there quite a bit, and I know they're really high on Cherry. Carmona talks real highly of Cherry, his backup, and so I was happy to see him out there and still doing good. And then I mean overall the line just I'm very pleased with the line this year after what we've watched the last couple of years. Like I just I love running the ball.
Yeah, I
I
do
want to
too.
run it down everybody's throat. That's my
Yeah,
favorite thing to watch.
I do
And
too.
then
And
also, it's great to see Talon, like you said, just be calm in the pocket, be able
yep.
to take his time and do what he wants to do.
And I think the best part of our run game right now is we haven't really needed it. Now they did run for 321, but they had a lot of long runs. We ran the ball 20 times, or no,
Yeah,
we ran the ball 29 times, and 6 different guys carried the ball. So you have 9 carries from Washington, 5 carries from Russell, 9 carries from Taylor Green, 4 from Rodney Hill, and then 1 KJ Jackson. He had 1 carry for a touchdown to finish off that drive. But you're not overusing running backs like Jaquindon Jackson. By the second game of the year, he had like almost 40 carries, probably over because he
yeah.
had like 29 at Oklahoma State. So I'm assuming he had over 11 in the first game last year.
And I also think that's a big thing too. Is like if you watch the game, like we just talked about, we're sitting there watching the game, going, "Man, are they going to run the ball?" So
Yeah.
you ran the ball for 300 yards, and it felt like you never ran the ball. It felt like you were
Yep.
throwing every play. So
hmm
I mean, that's got to be a good sign.
Yep. I mean, you 29 passes, 29 runs. I
It
mean,
did not feel like that.
talk about a balanced offense.
It did
uh,
not feel like that watching it, but
no.
that's crazy.
Uh, but yeah, offense I'm super pleased with. They on and like you said, they mixed some guys in, but they ran some different um plays, some more wrinkles. They were pulling like Corey Robinson was pulling, and that's how that blocks run. I did not think I would see if you'd have told me Corey Robinson was going to run up the field for like 27 yards and make a block on a safety this year. I'd probably told you you're out of your mind. But he was moving, man. He was moving. But I'm happy with the production of the offense. Obviously, how can you not be? You scored 52 in
Mhm.
the opener, 56 against a better squad. So you're averaging 54 points a game right now against who you're playing. Don't care. So defensively, I was impressed with the linebacker Story. Played out of his mind, 15 tackles, a half a sack, 2 tackles for loss, and an interception. He was the MVP of the uh, defense. What impressed you the most about the defense this last weekend?
The line. Uh, I mean, all week we watched Alabama and A&M game. We didn't really get any pressure on them. It didn't feel like. And then we're coming into the Arkansas State game, and it's like, oh, right. Which Rayner is a good player. I'm not trying to talk bad on Rayner, but all we hear is like Rayner is going to give us trouble. He's going to run all over us. He's a good quarterback. Like he's going to give problems if they can't get pressure. And I feel like he never besides the one drive where they marched down the field, I feel like there was never a drive where he looked settled in. Like he was always having to scramble and try and make something happen. So I think that was a really good sign from the defense.
Yep, and credit to that defense. And the defensive line. First drive of the game, Quincy Rhodes gets a solo sack. Of course, we didn't get to see it because War Memorial technical issues and all that. We came back and we were getting the ball back. I was like, what happened? But yeah, Quincy Rhodes, 2 sacks. You know, on our preseason show, I was like, Quincy Rhodes, he's going to start this year. I was just kind of because whenever he first showed up to campus and they were showing fall camp and stuff last year, I was like, man, this guy's big. He looks the part. Didn't really do anything last year. Of course, he's playing behind Landon Jackson, but he's a real deal. And I am so confident if we can get. Of course, I haven't been able to listen or watch anything today because I work nights, but they're hoping that David Oakey can be back. If David Oakey's back, Philip Lee, who surprised me, and I know you brought him up. Philip Lee, Quincy Rhodes. You got Cam Ball, who's playing too many snaps right now, but Ian Jaffrard, David Oakey, and what's the other one?
Boone.
Justice Boone, and Charlie Collins. That's a
Okay.
pretty deep. I mean, and I was going to bring this up too. Like we said in our pregame show or preseason show, we thought they were going to run 3 down linemen with the way they haven't really ran that. I mean, it's been a lot of 4 now. Change of competition. We'll see what they do, their game plan or whatnot, what Travis Williams wants to cook up. But, I mean, if you get David Oakey back, I'm okay with keeping down 4, just the way they're mixing and matching. Quincy's been playing a little bit inside, and then they put Philip Lee on the outside just to kind of take some reps off Cam Ball. He played like 50-something snaps Saturday, and I know he played 50, or in a fourth quarter game, he's going to have to play 60 if that's the case, and that's if we can stop him.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, defensive line, super impressed. I don't care who you're playing. 5 or 4 sacks, 10 tackles for loss. You can't. I mean, 10 tackles for loss is pretty good. And 4 sacks, 3.5 of them were from your D line. The only other guy to get a sack was a half a sack for Xavier Sorey. Everyone else was from the D line. So, cool stuff. A lot of people in the tackle for loss category. More people than not who started got a tackle for loss. Larry Worth had a tackle for loss, our safety. So everybody's in the backfield mixing it up. So D-line played well. Obviously, linebackers played well. Secondary, Julian Neal, Connie Walker, those are your corners. Don't put anybody else on the field if you can help it. In my opinion, those two they look like the real deal. I mean, they're tackling like, and I keep on bringing it up. I saw someone post something or I don't even remember where I saw it, but it was yesterday or last night whenever I got off work. Someone was like, "Yeah, we gotta tackle better." I'm like, what are you watching? What are you watching? We're tackling great, in my opinion.
I think they're tackling good. I've watched too many years of Arkansas football where we were arm tackling in the secondary, and that's how big plays happen. And I really have not seen that from them this year. They're breaking down, making all the tackles, and honestly, I think they're covering pretty good. I know it could be a level competition thing, but we haven't really given up like huge shot plays.
Yep.
And I honestly feel confident if you give up a big shot play, which is going to happen at some point this season, that they're going to make the tackle.
I mean,
And
how
that's
many
a
explosive
big deal.
plays have you seen them give up? That's just like 30 yards down the field. I don't even know if we've seen one. Maybe one. I don't remember it. But it's all going to rely on like we said. Your secondary is only as good as your defensive line getting pressure. If your defensive line is not getting pressure, your secondary is going to get cooked. It doesn't matter if your secondary is, 2 All-Americans at corner and, 2 third-team All-Conference guys. If they're not going to be that if you're not getting any pressure. So,
Yep.
But yeah, secondary looked great. I mean, they had 2 interceptions. One was kind of a freebie. It looked like a bad route. Rayner just threw it up, and Julian Neal went underneath it and caught it. But it was still cool to see.
He should have had a third or a second one. Neal should have hit his hands and he
We
dropped it. But
we dropped a couple. We dropped a couple
so
early in the
we
game.
should have had more interceptions.
Yeah. And that's, you always hear that cliche. Yeah, that's why they're playing defense. So. But,
hey, I like the way Neal can drop a couple interceptions if he keeps getting those big hits. I like watching him play.
Oh yeah, and that was the cool thing about the crowd. They were pretty active. Whenever someone would get a big hit, it was like, ooh, you could hear it in the crowd. But yeah, overall, great game, statistically, and obviously if you watch it, but it's just the 2 interceptions really, and maybe if you want to be picky with the penalties and letting Arkansas State get down the field and score right there, I'm kind of going to ignore. I mean, I know we talked about it, but I'm ignoring that kick return. I mean, you can't have it, but as long as it don't become an issue, I'm not going to, bag on him too much. I'm sure he got his he may not even be out there, the next kickoff. I don't know if he was or not. I wasn't paying
But
attention that much.
I do know Sam Pittman talked about they're going to change some personnel in the kickoff team. I guess they felt like they didn't have enough speed or defensive players out there.
Yeah, Pittman he looked fired up on the sideline this weekend. He was tearing into players and Coach Fountain. He was tearing into him. He didn't really say anything after kickoff. He looked mad, but whenever they had to call that timeout, he was like, "What is going on?" You can't. You're only special teams only out there so many plays. Now, if your kicker's
Yeah.
missing a field goal, that's different. But if you're not lane discipline and you have too many guys out there, you're only out there for 6-7 plays a game, and you mess up on 2 of them, and you give up 7 points on 1.
Yeah.
Can't have it. Cannot have it. But yeah, overall great game. Most impressed with the D line this game. Talon just didn't surprise me in what he did. It was cool to see his run and all that, but he can do that. We kind of forget, but he's killing it right now, man. 11 touchdowns. He's probably got over 800 yards total offense, 900 yards total offense. But any other thoughts on the game before we get into Ole Miss?
Not really, except I'm happy with it. I don't want to say the game went as expected because I expected Arkansas State to score a little more and us to not score as much. So they overperformed my expectations.
All right. On to Ole Miss here. Ole Miss gets the 30-23 win at Kentucky. Like we talked about, their quarterback threw 2 interceptions, no touchdowns. Kind of surprising, Ole Miss. I mean, we say this about quarterbacks, there's bad quarterbacks that can play Arkansas and look like All-Americans. So I'm sure the kid has talent. Not saying he doesn't, but 3 touchdowns and 4 interceptions in 2 games. 2 interceptions against Georgia State and 2 against Kentucky. Seems like he turns over the ball, so just got to take advantage of that. But yeah, I'm sure he's got talent. I'm surprised that he isn't. They're running the ball a lot for Ole Miss.
1, 2. Also, just real quick at the Kentucky game, with at the end of the fourth quarter, that quarterback got injured. He rolled his ankle up or sprained it or something, and he never came back in the game. So, I mean, it's possible he might not even play next week. I'm sure he will.
Yeah,
but that's a possibility.
I watched Lane Kiffin's press conference this morning. Seemed like he wasn't really too concerned about it. He said he could have went back out there. I don't know if I believe that or not, but
I'll wait for the injury report.
Yeah. Well, he still ain't gonna. It'll be questionable the whole week. He's not gonna put him down as anything other than that. But yeah, they run the ball a lot. I think their running back ran it like 29 times last weekend. Let me double check that. 28 carries, 138 yards, and a touchdown. So yeah, ran it a lot for an Ole Miss team where you think 50, 60 points a game. They haven't really showed that. I mean, and yes, they play Kentucky, but even if you look at the Georgia State game, well, they did score 63 points against Georgia State. Never mind. But they scored 63? How?
I watched that game, and they put it on at the end.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, they really pulled away at the end.
They scored 3 touchdowns in the last 7 minutes of the game.
Yeah, so
okay.
I mean, it's still 60 points. I mean, it's nothing to shake your head at, but I mean, it wasn't like a whole game domination thing. It's like last second they just put 3 on the board real quick.
Yeah, and I just feel like Kentucky's just not very good, brother. I just don't think they're very good.
I don't either.
I'm not impressed.
Definitely not on offense.
And Ole Miss's offensive line looks horrible. I mean, they're giving up pressure. Their right guard's terrible.
Who's that?
He was getting whooped. But no, I just don't think their offensive line isn't that good. They're running the ball a lot. Their running back look, here we go. Their running back has 44 carries. Our highest rushing running back has 18 carries. That'll just tell you how much they've relied on the run this year. And maybe
Mhm.
Lane knows something. I mean, if he believed in his quarterback, he would have threw it more than 55 times in 2 games, in my opinion.
I mean, that's what he wants to do too. Like, this is
Mhm.
not the way Lane Kiffin wants
No.
to play football.
No. And he talked about it in his pregame interview about Arkansas, was that, he was like, well, it's nice we can rely on the run to kind of finish out the game, and keep it away from our opponent, but Lane would much rather go and score. And he's been known to, run score on people like he did last year against Arkansas. They were
Yeah.
still throwing it, with like 4 minutes left. They were throwing touchdowns. Talon was hurt in that game. We weren't going to win that game anyways, but this is a game that I really want. I know Sam wants it. There's a lot of comparisons because him and Lane kind of came into the league the same year.
Mhm.
Sam's 2-3 against him. They had the big win in 2022 at home. They kind of a team that wasn't that good, and Ole Miss was actually pretty good, and they
Mhm.
dominated them. But they've had some good battles. This has been a good game since these two coaches have been here. Aside from last year, every other game's been one of the more entertaining ones of the season.
Yeah.
Uh,
I feel like Ole Miss has always been that way, even before Kiffin and Sam Pittman. It's always just a good game. The 4th and 25, the
mhm.
7 overtimes. It's always just a good game.
I've seen a lot of Ole Miss fans talking about. They had posted something like their social media team posted about how it's going to be a night game against
Oh yeah,
Arkansas,
and then
and then all the memes were like, "No," all the Miss fans. But you could tell the respect. I don't know if Arkansas fans realize this, but the respect that a lot of teams have for Arkansas this year, just based on what you put. I mean, it doesn't matter what your record is against somebody or what you used to be or whatever. It's what you put on tape. And if you look at, comments of fans and all that, they're like, we got to be ready to go. That's all. We're going to have to stop this offense. We got to stop Taylor Green. We got to, we're going to have to run the ball. I mean, they're not thinking this is going to be a, runaway game. So Arkansas fans shouldn't either. I think this is going to be a close game. But yeah, what do you think's going to be, I guess, kind of cliche, but what do you think's going to be kind of the key, or what you're going to be hopeful the most to see out of Arkansas? What's it going to take for them to get it done?
well, I mean, we're gonna have to pressure the quarterback because I mean, we see that he's making mistakes, so you need to put pressure on him. See if he's gonna make those mistakes against you or not. I think it all comes down to Talon. Like, is Talon gonna be the Talon we've seen these first 2 games, or is he gonna fall down to his level that he's going to go up a competition level? Is he going to fall down in performance level, or is he going to keep tearing people up?
Yep. Mine would probably be, because obviously this kid, you don't see them throw it down the field a lot if you go and watch them. Now, they did against Georgia State a little bit, but they're not taking a lot of deep shots. They still have receivers. Ole Miss has receivers. And I think Kentucky's issue was they were playing so far off of these receivers, they were giving free throws to the quarterback and, hey, go make a play. You know what I mean? They were quick throws outside. So my biggest thing is going to be tackling still. Yes, we've said they've been tackling well, but they're going to have to continue to do that and get down these receivers. They're big guys. Going to have to make open field tackles because they're going to, Arkansas they played a lot of press last weekend, which I was impressed with, but they are going to back up and give them a little bit of space too. So you're going to have to make tackles because they're going to throw it short of the sticks. On a 3rd and 8, they're probably going to throw it, 5 yards and let the receiver go make a play. So you're going to have to tackle them short. You're going to need a bunch of hats on the football. And then I think it's going to be running the ball. Talon is going to put up numbers, I'm sure. I hope, but you're going to see the running game if we can run the ball well, which all signs show that we can. You're going to see an uptick in carries. Mike Washington's going to carry it more than 9 times next Saturday, maybe 13, 14 times. Braylon Russell will carry it, 8, 9, 10 times.
I think that's going to be a big thing into if Talon plays well or not too. If we're running the ball well, Talon's probably going to have a field day with them. Like, they're going to be worried about the run the whole time. That's when Talon does a little play action, throws it deep, or I agree with you on that.
Yep.
That'll help Talon out a lot.
Spread it opened up at like 9. Now it's down to 7.5, which is kind of crazy. I think the total was at 63.5, and now it's down to 60. What do you think? You got a prediction? Barring, let's say, let me give you some circumstances. Everybody, we didn't even talk about Monte Harrison, broken foot.
Yeah,
Sucks. I almost said Keon Hatcher, broken foot, but it's Monte Harrison this year.
I really wanted to see him score a touchdown this season.
Yeah, I know. It sucks. I guess he's going to use his red shirt. I don't really know what he's going to do. Kind of sucks because that's the kind of thing that'll be like, will he even come back? Not saying he doesn't want it, but it's kind of a thing where this kid's married, he's got kids, so
Kid,
sucks.
he's older than us.
Yeah, crazy. But yeah, what do you think? What do you think into this game?
I think it's gonna be a really close game. I think we can win. This is for me, this game's really important. Like, I know it's an important game anyways, but for me, this is like gonna be how I judge the whole season. Like, if we go in there and get kind of stomped, it's gonna kind of set my view for the rest of the season. I'll just kind of be waiting for the next one. But if we win this one, or even play a close game, like, I want to win the game, of course. But
Yeah,
if this game is close, like I think it's gonna be like a 3-point game or a touchdown game, then I'm gonna feel really good, and I really do think we can win. I don't think Ole Miss is that good, if I'm being honest. Like, they're still gonna win 7 or 8 games, but I think this is a big game for us to show what we're gonna be this year, and
yeah.
I think we can win. I see it being a touchdown game either way.
I think this is one of those games like an A&M, where it's like such a swing game. I think when the last time Arkansas started 4-0, they won 9 games. So you win this one, and then you kind of got, of course, if you win this one, that is like the term trap game right there, squeezed in the middle of, playing Notre Dame at home. So, but the last time Arkansas started off 4-0, they, won 9 games. Not saying they're going to, but if you win this game, you can definitely get to 7 wins with a bunch of toss-ups. You win this game, you feel better about every other game you play, including Notre Dame, including Tennessee, A&M, Mississippi State, Auburn. I think it just changes the way people perceive, at least Arkansas fans perceive Coach Pittman. And there's going to be people out there that if Arkansas wins, are like, great, this is going to be, Pittman's going to sign an extension, instead of thinking, well, maybe he's actually, doing something. But I'm excited. I think it's going to be a great game. I hope we stomp them, but that's just me wishfully thinking, but I think I'm more nervous in games when we're up big. Like in the Arkansas State game, even the Arkansas State game, we were up like 28-7 and Talon threw that interception. And I'm just thinking, please do not lose this game. Like, we're up 3 touchdowns and I'm already thinking about what's going to happen if we lose. But yeah, let's, so you didn't say whether you thought they were going to win or not. I got them winning 38-28.
I was going to say we're going to win. We're going to win 34-28.
Okay. So we're kind of on the same lines. I think our defense is just better than, it shows on tape, but and I don't know. I don't care who you play with just the fundamentals that they play with. Like, there was some plays where Philip Lee, for instance, he's playing against a fast quarterback and he goes to blitz. Philip Lee acts like he's going to throw it behind him, so he goes back to guard the receiver, and then he realizes he's not going to throw it to him, and then goes and tackles Rayner. Like, within a second and a half, he makes like 3 different decisions, just smart, fundamental plays. So I'm just excited. I think the defense is going to be way better. I don't think we're going to have to outscore people as much as I thought. Now, in these bigger games, when you're playing a Texas and LSU, obviously you're going to need the offense. But so yeah, we both have them winning. I know that you had them losing in our pregame show, so I guess they've changed your mind a little bit.
I think we're a little better than we thought we were going to be, and I think Ole Miss and a few other, not just Ole Miss, I think a few other teams are worse than we thought they were going to be.
Yep.
But
Okay.
I've watched both Ole Miss games. I'm not impressed.
Let's see. Oklahoma big win over Michigan. Kind of a sloppy game. I don't know. It just seemed like two teams just in there. It was like a heavyweight fight in the last round where they're just like, who's gonna not lose? But I know Oklahoma kind of pulled away, but missed field goals and just missed opportunities. Michigan just seemed like they don't know how to call plays. I don't even know anything about that coach or anything, but I don't know. I think their quarterback was like perfect in the first half throwing the ball, and then they come out there and they're trying to just I don't know. Weird game. Oklahoma State gets body slammed at Oregon last weekend, 69-3. I know my dad had Oklahoma State covering that game, and then they're like
they almost got it.
Yeah, they almost did. But let's go over some games this weekend. Clemson at Georgia Tech. I think that's gonna be a pretty good game.
I'm thinking Georgia Tech.
11 a.m. on ESPN. That's a good way to start your day. Georgia Tech, little ACC action. Oklahoma playing Temple in Lincoln Financial. A weird
On the
place to
road.
play that game, yeah. Wisconsin at Alabama.
Alabama will blow them out.
You think?
I think so.
I remember last
they're
year.
trying to prove a point.
I thought they would blow them out, and then it was a close game. They ended up winning, but and shout out to Vandy putting it on Virginia Tech, 40-24. Good for them. They're still
on the road.
Yeah, I know they're over under so like 3.5 wins this year. They already have double, or they already have half of that. They're going to crush that, I think.
And I'm calling it now. They're beating South Carolina this weekend.
Whoa!
Vanderbilt's going to go in there and
sellers, not sellers. You got. Let's see. I'm not going to name any of these crazy ones. Georgia, Tennessee, 2:30 ABC in Knoxville. Well, top 15 matchup.
I'll take Georgia until Georgia loses, I think.
Really? Tennessee's better than I thought they were.
They do look good, but
that quarterback looks really, really good.
I haven't watched the Georgia game, so I can't speak on them. I'm just going to take them to win until they don't.
All right. The showdown everybody's been talking about in Jonesboro, Iowa State, number 14 on the road at Arkansas State. The spread's 21. So just pick the spread. You think Iowa State covers that? 21. Now, granted,
yeah, I think Iowa State's pretty good.
Really? They beat a Kansas State team who lost to an Army team who lost to an FCS team, and then they beat Iowa, who scores 10 points a game. I'm not impressed.
I like their quarterback. I think he's pretty good. Now, I do hope Arkansas State covers or wins, though.
I hope they beat them. They would rush the field over there.
I feel pretty good about our performance. I already feel good about our performance, but if Arkansas State beats them or covers pretty close, I'll feel really good about how we put it on them.
All right. Missouri's taking on the Raging Cajuns. Missouri kind of impressed me last weekend, the win against Kansas. People don't really think that much. I mean, Arkansas fans, of course, I cannot stand Missouri. I'm not here to talk, all graceful and, Eli Drinkwitz's everything, but they're playing really well and their quarterback's good.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely have Missouri in that one. Missouri's favored by 27.5. I don't know if I like them that. I don't know if I like them that much, but South Florida beats Florida on the road. Now they're going down to Miami to play the number 5 Hurricanes. 17.5 point spread. That's intriguing. I think South Florida is actually not a bad team. Miami may be too much for them.
I think Miami's the real deal this year. I don't know if they're national champions, but I think they're a very good team. Yeah. I think they'll win the ACC.
Yeah.
And I probably would pick them to cover as well. I think USF is good too, but I think they've had 2 big games in a row. At some point, they're going to have a letdown game where they just
I think
can't keep up with somebody.
I think Carson Beck's took a step this offseason.
He's good.
I think he's took a big step. Florida at LSU. That'll be a stomping. Only 8.5-point favorites at home. I'm all over that.
Yeah,
I'm all over it. I'm all
I think
over it.
LSU's slamming them, especially after LSU just had like such a bad game too.
Mhm.
They're gonna come out. I think they're gonna stomp them.
Yep, I'm all over that. This is one I'm going to be really interested in. This is going to be like the quad box games. You got Florida LSU, Texas A&M at Notre Dame. I think that's going to be a good game. Notre Dame's favored by 6.5. I think they win that game. I think losing game one. Of course, they were on a bye week last week. I think Marcus Freeman's going to have them ready to go, and I think they still make the playoff. Notre Dame. Now they can't lose this one. If they lose this one, then they're going to lose 3
Yeah.
games because they're losing to Arkansas. But I think Notre Dame's going to win this game for sure. That's just what I think. But 6:30 on NBC, like you said, Vanderbilt. You called your shot. Vanderbilt out South Carolina at 6:45. I think it's going to be a good game. Vanderbilt or South Carolina's favored by 6.5. I got South Carolina covering that. I think it's still going to be a good game, but I just believe in Sellers, man.
Give me Vandy.
And then Utah, Wyoming. We don't even have to talk about that game. That's going to be a
Whatever the spread is, Utah covers it. I don't know what the spread is, but they're gonna cover it.
23.5.
They're covering that.
Honestly, a better week of football this week. Last week, not too many. I mean, there were some good games, but not really like some other than maybe Oklahoma, Michigan. There really wasn't anything crazy. You got the Clemson, Georgia Tech. You got Georgia, Florida, Texas A&M, Notre Dame. So a couple of good games this weekend. So yeah, any final thoughts before we get out of here?
Not really. Vanderbilt's beating South Carolina and Arkansas's beating Ole Miss. That's what I know this weekend.
There we go. Woo pig. Woo pig. All right. Appreciate all the support, guys. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Appreciate it. And we will see y'all next week. Hopefully Arkansas 3-0 and on the road to Memphis. See ya.